Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the GM. It is your guy, Boulanger. Up next, who's going to be the next man up with Calvin Noy out? Let's talk. The Baltimore Ravens broke news yesterday that Calvin Noy will be out for the foreseeable future. Personally, with a hamstring injury, a player of his age, I think the Ravens should hold him out through the bye week. Plenty of treatment, plenty of rest, plenty of recovery. Therefore, he's ready for week 8, right? But nevertheless, the Baltimore Ravens, just like all 31 teams, have a next man up mentality when it comes to injuries. So the question I have is, who is next man up? I think it creates plenty of opportunity for the younger guys behind Van Noy to get some run. We saw the news that the Ravens brought back Malik Ham to the practice squad. I expect him to be brought up on Monday for some game action. And Malik Ham is a guy who had a great preseason. Defended the run well, had I think 2 or 3 sacks in the preseason showing. And so I thought he was a guy who could stick around for the season. In fact, I thought another team would snatch him up. Nevertheless, he's back. But I'm not talking about him. He's not the guy who I think gets next man up rotation snaps. I'm not talking about Mike Green either. Mike Green is a guy that the Baltimore Ravens fan base, organization, coaching staff have been excited about. And he has performed well when he's gotten snaps. And yes, his minutes will increase, his snaps will increase as Calvin Noy is out. But I don't think that he's the guy I'm looking for either. I don't think it's him that takes full advantage of the Calvin Noy injury. In fact, believe this or not, I think it's going to be David Ojabo. See, we all have an expectation for Mike Green. We have some expectation for Odafe. We understand what Tavius Robinson brings to the table. But David Ojabo, or Ajabo, however you would like to pronounce it, is a player that we have been waiting on for some time. He's a player that was drafted in the second round about 4 seasons ago now, who had a Achilles injury. And he came on late in his rookie season, had a strip sack fumble on Joe Burrow. Then he had another play, I think, the next season. But just as many plays as he's had on the field that really showed and demonstrated his ability to perform as a pass rusher, he's also either practiced or played himself out of rotation. There was plenty of times where he was a healthy scratch. And so David Ojabo is in a contract year. And I think there is no time like right now for him to take advantage because he is literally the next man up. Why Ojabo? Well, Odafe already gets run. Mike Green already gets run. Tavius Robinson was already getting some run. David Ojabo, unless I'm incorrect, was a healthy scratch his first 2 games of the season. Well, out Calvin Noy, David Ojabo on the active 53-man roster, he's the logical choice. But let's go one step deeper, right? Why would I say David Ojabo could offset the loss of Calvin Noy? Well, Calvin Noy has been okay this season, but he doesn't have a sack. In fact, none of the Ravens pass rushers, with the exception of Tavius Robinson, have a sack this season. Metabike has 2, leads the team. Tavius Robinson has 1. That's it. So it's not like we're losing a guy who has had big time pressure rate. Hasn't been that. This pass rush this season hasn't been that great at all. In fact, there has been some bright spots, but they haven't been collapsing the pocket. They haven't been bringing the quarterback down. Okay. And that was even with a below average Joe Flacco as it pertains to mobility and escapability. Didn't even bring him down a whole lot. And so David Ojabo is good for a splash play once every other time he gets on the field, because he doesn't get on the field that much. But being in that 5th edge rush spot now moves up to the fourth edge rush spot. I think he should get some minutes. And I'm looking for David Ajabo to show this season. He's healthy, contract season. He's going to be trying to get somebody's attention. And so now it's time to put on display, David Ajabo, all of your potential, all of what everybody expected from you, and what the Baltimore Ravens took a chance on drafting you in the second round with a torn Achilles. We saw a splash play from David Ajabo. I think it was in preseason game number 1, where he bent the edge, exploded, and crushed Anthony Richardson, knocked him out of the game. Those are the kind of plays he's capable of. And now it's time for him to put his full capability on display. I think that he could be a benefit and a bonus over what Calvin Noy brought to the table, specifically in this season. With understanding, Calvin Noy led the team last year with 12 sacks. In fact, Calvin Noy has the most sacks over the last 2 seasons. But Calvin Noy is not explosive like David Ajabo. He's not as strong as David Ajabo, and he's not as athletic as David Ajabo. So I think this is a real opportunity for David Ajabo to up his game and add something extra to this Baltimore Ravens defense. You guys let me know what you're expecting from David Ajabo. Will he shine, or will he be sent right back to the bench? I'm your guy, Boulanger, and until next time, I'm out.